Okay. So shall I call you Mickey?
That's it.
Yeah.
Mouse.
If we choose Mickey Mouse.
Mr. Mouse.
If we won't.
Mr.
We'll
Mouse.
edit this back. Mr. Mouse.
Mr. Mouse.
Okay, Mr. Mouse. Perhaps if we get on, then we can go to Mickey.
That's
sort of
right.
If we get on.
That's
but
right. If we
let's
get on,
keep it formal.
Keep it formal, Mr. Mouse.
Okay. So, Mr.
Please.
Mouse. So let me start with this. I'm going to start with what I'd like to do is to shock some of our listeners, because they won't usually associate the behaviour I'm going to be talking about with Mickey Mouse. But I happen to know, correct me if I'm wrong. You've got a child now of age over in his 20s, right? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
So, but when he was 5, you told me a story about something you did with him in a supermarket, and I'd like you to tell the listeners what you did.
I just equipped him for the system. What I felt was his elementary training, part of his elementary education.
Okay. And what form did that take?
Just teaching him how to shoplift, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people will be shocked by Mickey Mouse revealing this secret, because Mickey Mouse is although Mickey Mouse, you have done a lot of really violent acts and encouraging children to do that, but this is unexpected.
That was my cousin's influence, Jerry. I don't know if you're familiar with Tom and Jerry. That's my cousin. He was the naughty one.
Because he blames you.
Yeah, that's right. He would do. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, tell me a bit more about this training. What did you actually do?
Well, I took him into, I think the store was Paul Smith at the time.
And so was that a large department store?
Yeah, a large kind of trendy department store.
Right.
And high-end kind of clothing for children at the time. I think they've still got the children's department. And he liked a shirt that he fancied. I think it was about 50 quid or something for a child's thing. So I just showed him how to get it. If he likes it, then he can have it. He doesn't have to conform to what's on the price tag, because that's made up anyway.
Right. And now a lot of people. I'm not even going to ask you further explanations for this, because I wanted to bring this up as a start, so that the people that are really meant to listen to this. And the people that are really not meant to listen to this, that they should turn off now, because what you're about to share with us has this funny property. I'm guessing, if it's anything about the stuff that I talk about, it's got this property a bit like medicine. That if you take it and if you're ready to take it in need of such medicine, it's going to help you. But if you're not in need of the medicine, then it's going to hinder you. So, if for people who can't handle the fact that you did that to a 5-year-old child, and that then they should probably switch off now. That's why
for sure. Yeah, for sure. It would go against the grain for most people, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't. I mean, if you've subscribed to the system 100%, then of course it would go against the grain, because that would be crime and law and like against the law, etc., etc. A minor, taking advantage of a minor.
Right.
Maybe even brainwashing or damaging the child in some way.
Right.
But it didn't.
Let's talk about that, because that's one of the what you certainly taught me, Mickey. I mean, sorry, Mr. Mouse. I apologise, Mr. Mouse. You've taught me about a specific word, and to think about it differently, which I really appreciate. Can you tell me what you shared with me about the word paedophile?
That's right. Yeah. If you think of it. What I suggested before was to change the spelling of it to get the full significance of it.
Do you know what the actual etymology of the current word is? Do you know what? Will you share with us what you know what that actually means?
Yeah, it's to take advantage of a minor.
No,
sexually take advantage of.
Hold on a minute. I'm talking about the etymology of the word itself. What does the word actually mean?
P-A-E, peed is child.
Yeah.
And
file.
Yeah, file
is
to
love.
To love, that's right.
Love.
Yeah, to love a child.
Now, there's nothing wrong with loving a child, is there?
To love a child,
I love
nothing wrong. Absolutely,
I absolutely adore them. They're gorgeous, delicious. I like to hug them.
That's right.
I like to kiss them. I like to be with them. They're innocent. It's amazing.
Right.
I love them. Yeah.
That's right.
And the system has twisted the word, and if I say things like that, some people would say, "Oh,
That's
and
right.
my children even use the word." So
that's right.
The system has actually twisted the word. So
That's
tell us
right.
about your spelling of it.
My spelling is Paedile.
No, D-E-F, isn't it?
That's right. Defile, D-E-F-I-L-E.
Yeah.
That's right, paedophile. So
Yeah.
to defile a child.
Yes.
The defilers of children are paedophiles. The true significance of that, or what even the original one is trying to hint at that.
Yeah.
That the paedophile is a destroyer or a defiler of children.
Right.
Whereas, as you rightly said, the etymology infers loving of children. So the complete opposite. So
Yeah.
the true meaning of that word would have to be changed to really represent what it really is trying to say, which is the defiling of children.
Yeah.
Which is what this system is built on.
Yeah. Could you
or
be a bit
profits
more
from.
specific about actual? Because I was cycling along today with a barrister friend of mine, and I was telling him about what you did, and he obviously couldn't get his head around it, right? And I was saying, he was saying you're stealing from Tesco, and I was trying to explain how deeply problematic the system is and Tesco is, and that was so can you explain how did Tesco, for example, or Sainsbury's or Waitrose or any of these large organisations, how do they defile children?
Well, you only got to look at the layout of the store. If you go into Tesco and you see where they place which they've now also, the government is now accepting that there's a big problem with sugar. It's becoming an epidemic now, causing one of the main causes of obesity, diabetes, etc., etc. So if you look at where they place the sugar-laden items when you come into the store, they're prominent everywhere, so that you can't escape it. As you go in, there's cakes, sweets, right there, first of all. So you hit those straight away, and then if you resist them, by the time you've done your shopping, they're right there at the end again as you come out to the tills. So there's sugar everywhere. So that's one form of defiling of children.
And adults.
And adults, to get them hooked on sugar products.
Yeah.
That's it, sugar being a poison, really. There's no nutritional value in sugar. It's just a flavouring. It excites the palate, and it's completely unnatural, synthetic, and it has such a terrible effect on the body, which they've now admitted. The government have admitted that, so they're trying to cut back now, but it's almost too late because everybody's addicted to it now. It is the nutritional...
What do you mean they're trying to cut back? Who's trying to cut back?
Well, they're trying
I don't see any cutbacks in supermarkets with the...
Not in the supermarkets,
they're now selling
not for sure.
8 litres of Coke for the price of 4.
Exactly, yeah. They're trying to send out messages that it may be wrong to consume that amount of sugar. And so maybe now they're talking about putting health warnings on sugar products, I was reading. That's the new line now.
Yeah, but you know what? That's neurolinguistic programming.
That's right,
because
that's right.
if you put "don't do this" on something...
People do it. They've been doing it with cigarettes.
Yeah.
They've done it with cigarettes.
Right.
They've been exposed with cigarettes. Now that's been seen to be what it is. And they've put the warning on, and it hasn't diminished sales at all. Because the addiction is too deep. It's too late now. So that is one form of the defiling of children, through the food. And then it goes on and on and on. Clothing, pop music, all the rest of it.
So tell me a bit more about the pop music.
Same thing again. So all the record sales are aimed at the children. They're aimed at children. All of the bands are constructed to send the messages out to all the lyrics. If you listen to the content of the lyrics, everything is to hook children, infants, as young as possible. That's what the whole pop industry is about. That's how they make their money. So
what is going on with these people? And I mean, okay, let me ask you a different question, Mr. Mouse. Can I call you Mickey now? Or
that's right. Mickey's okay now.
Is Mickey okay now? Great. Great. Seems to be getting on. A question comes into my mind. I say a prayer every day, at least 2 or 3 times a day, actually, which is, I'm sure you're familiar with the Serenity Prayer, which goes, God, as you understand him or her or don't or whatever, life, you can call it what you like, or grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah. So my question is, I know that I'm kind of reaching out to you for answers to a question that really I can only answer for myself. But I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, especially such an important character in the lives of children, Mickey. I wonder what you'd have to say about the idea of that, of accepting things that we can't change, knowing what can we change in the system, what can we do. I think a lot of people are waking up to this, what you're saying, and the severity of it. Yeah,
that's right.
But I think many people just don't know what to do. And if I can just include in that question the idea of focusing on, the importance of focusing on what we have, because part of the system is has brainwashed us so much into focusing on what we don't have that we can fall into that trap. I can fall into that trap on a regular basis every day and miss all the beauty of it all.
That's right, yeah.
What would you say to that?
Well, that Serenity Prayer, my answer would be that it's okay if we are in an ideal world to accept things, but we're in an asylum. It's almost like an asylum. The people who are running the asylum have not got your best interest in mind. So, and we've also been trained from birth to be gregarious. And I've challenged this. I'm beginning to think more and more deeply about this gregarious thing, that it's human nature to be gregarious. Now I'm thinking no. In fact, I think it's detrimental, gregariousness. Because if you are in an asylum and you're trained to be friends with all of the inmates in that asylum, you've got no chance. The only hope is that you rely on your own self. You cut yourself away and develop your own thinking. Allow your mind to think, look within. All of the mystical ways talk about looking within. It's a reverse. Buddha left his situation and went wandering on his own to find enlightenment. Jesus left his family and went wandering alone in the wilderness to find the answers. All of them. You look at all of the greats, so-called greats, they've all been solitary figures. Gandhi had to pull away from what he was doing before. I think he was in law. He had to pull away and examine it and see the flaws in it and then find his own way of expressing himself. This is the way to do it, but unfortunately it requires individuality, and that's the difficult thing. If you've been trained to be a group member, it's very difficult to tear yourself away from the group because you're receiving all of your power from the group, from the other members. Strength in numbers, all of these things have been pumped into our minds. So we feel it's weak to be on your own. It's horrible. Oh, I'm bored. Oh, I'm lonely. I wish I had a friend. I wish I had a girlfriend. Hence marriage, hence all of these things, pulling you back into the tribal thing. It seems to me the way to gain strength and power is to remove yourself from the tribe. You have to stand as a strong individual.
Have you removed yourself? Because at the moment you still seem very prominent on television. You still seem to have a lot of issues of anger and stuff. Have you managed to remove yourself at all?
Well, I've never been part of it, really.
Right.
I've always just used the system
to
promote my message.
Right.
Subliminally. But you have to look deep into my movies to really catch the message. But I can assure you they're in there. You'll see a strong individual if you watch all of my cartoons.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So
we were just here, and I'm going to be putting a recording of a conversation I had with some undercover police officers.
Yeah.
And I'd said in the conversation with them, I said, it's weird because these guys come along, they take out a couple of badges, and my legs start shaking. It's like involuntary reaction. That's right. And just share with me what you think about that.
Well, it's an extraordinary phenomenon. It shows how deeply we've been conditioned to obey an authority figure. And obviously it comes from the parents. It starts with the parents who have also been conditioned to see themselves as authority figures. And the police are just an extension of that. So we respond automatically. Anyone tells us to do anything. And again, it's back to my point of being an individual. You must deprogram yourself from all of the things that have been part of your primary education. Hence the shoplifting for my son. It was just a radical move to show him that he doesn't have to comply. Although, funny enough, he does comply. Right. He's not a shoplifter, he doesn't choose that way. But I thought it was my duty to show him the other side of the coin.
Right.
That these things are manufactured, the prices are manufactured, everything's a game. It's all just a big stage set, and you don't have to comply.
It's not. You see, what I thought, maybe I'm wrong about this, what I thought was part of what you were doing was to expose the incredible deceit and dishonesty and the theft. It really is, for all intents and purposes, for me, what these companies are doing is just as bad as theft in my mind, worse. Mm-hmm.